Thank you for joining this webinar. How to cut down the cost with automation. Thank you very much for your time and your interest. Today we'll be talking about accounts payable automation, accounts payable management, and how you can actually operate it uh, in a real world. So we'll be talking about steps in general, and we'll be also presenting you how to automate accounts payable operations at your organization. My name is Kevin Devecioglu. I am the managing director of BIMSER International. Um, as we all know, accounts payable management is very important for companies. It affects the financial records directly. It affects the P&L directly, and also it is about the efficiency and productivity of organization. As part of digital transformation, we have developed eBA, our enterprise content management platform, and accounts payable automation is a solution that's actually running on eBA platform. So before we get into these technical and practical details, I'd like to introduce our company briefly, BIMSER International, about who we are, what we do, and then we will continue with Roger Hoyt, who is the president of Integrated Data Technologies company. Then we'll be presenting you, demonstrating you accounts payable automation of eBA, and we'll be addressing your questions in our Q&A session. Before I start our presentation about our company, please keep in mind that if you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to type your questions in the chat box, and we'll be addressing your questions during the Q&A session at the end of our webinar. Again, thank you very much, and I think we can start with our from now on. Our company is BIMSER International, and we are an enterprise software development company. As a company, we believe in simplicity. All of our products, they are designed to simplify processes of companies anywhere in the world. And our vision is to be the leader in our marketplace, which is enterprise software marketplace. As a company, we have global reach. BIMSER International has a software development center in Istanbul metro area, also has a presence in Europe, in the Netherlands. BIMSER International is based in New York, and as a group, BIMSER has about 150 people working day and night to help companies simplify their processes. BIMSER International is an enterprise software development company, and that's all we have been since 1998. BIMSER is a certified SAP vendor, Microsoft Gold Partner, and official Acumatica independent software vendor. Since 1998, we have been developing 4 products only. One of them is eBA. It is our workflow and document management platform. We have QDMS. It is for quality management, compliance management, and risk management software. It helps companies comply with ISO, BRC, kind of management standards. BIM is an asset management and maintenance management software. It helps companies manage their maintenance operations, work orders, spare part inventory management, and it also has purchasing management capabilities. Ensemble is a BPM tool. It helps companies manage their strategies, performance management processes, and also balanced scorecard capabilities. When we look at our products in general, Ensemble is more of a managerial tool. eBA, BIM, and QDMS, they are more on the production side of the transactions. 4 of our products, they can work standalone. They can be integrated to each other. They can be integrated to any ERP, any CRM platform that's available in the marketplace. Our products can work on cloud and on premise. So we have state-of-the-art technology. We also have mobile apps available for all of our products. We have delivered many projects globally. Some of them, if we need to mention, as for eBA, we have delivered more than 450 projects globally. As for Beam, our maintenance and asset management software, we have delivered more than 300 projects. As for QDMS, we have delivered more than 750 projects. And Ensemble, we have delivered more than 150 projects and still these are global figures, and we implement different projects every single day. And when we look at our customers, our clients globally, we have very well-known, reputable national and international brands. That's actually our references that actually I need to mention here. 3M is one of our references using eBA in 17 different countries. United Nations is one of our references using eBA's document management platform to track refugees. Bridgestone is one of our references using eBA in Turkey and in Dubai. AstraZeneca is one of our references in pharmaceutical industry. Societe Generale is a France-based bank, used eBA for loan automation purposes. Ford and Renault-Nissan Alliance, they are also some of our references. Also in California, there is ArcLight Movie Theaters. They are using eBA in association with SAP ERP system that's available in their locations. So these are some of our references available that I can share with you. In essence, that's who we are and what we do as Beamster International. As I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions, feel free to type in the chat box, and we will answer your questions during Q&A session. From here, I like to turn it to Roger Hoyt. He is the president of Integrated Data Technologies. After his brief presentation, we'll be talking about accounts payable automation, and we'll see it in real time, and we'll talk about how it helps be more efficient and more productive. Roger, would you like to take it from here?
Thank you. Let me begin by saying my name is Roger Hoyt. I'm the president of Integrated Data Technology. We are business technology consultants specializing in the field of ERP, CRM, and add-on solutions. So who is Integrated Data? Like I said earlier, we are a leading business technology solution provider here in New York. We provide consultancy to small and medium-sized enterprises in the field of ERP solutions. We were founded back in 1988, so we are 30 years old, and we've been doing this for quite a while, as you can see. Our core specialties are ERP consulting from selection through implementation and support services. Okay, so who are our partners? We partner with BIMSR, of course, for their solutions, which are great for any small or medium-sized business, as you just saw. And with that, we also, for ERP solutions in the cloud, Acumatica, which can be integrated with any of the BIMSR solutions. We have Avalar for tax management, and Sage, another ERP solution known within the small and medium-sized companies. These are a few of our customers that use our solutions. They range from wholesale distributors to manufacturers, and even some are pharmaceuticals. So think about it, AP optimization should be integrated with an ERP system, and that ERP system should work closely with that solution. With the BIMSR solution that you just saw, it's an open architecture allowing you to integrate with whatever ERP system you use. So I would say to you guys, take a deeper look at it, and it will save you quite a bit in terms of your AP input and correctness, I should say. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you very much for the presentation. So what I like to do is that I like to turn it to our pre-sales software engineer. She'll be showing us accounts payable automation with eBA and how we can actually use it in real time. Etiyar, would you please continue?
Thank you, Kevin. So let's take a look at eBA, at what we can do with this platform in terms of AP automation. Okay, so for those of you who don't know eBA yet, eBA is a document and workflow management system. And let's go over a brief overview of eBA so that you get a better idea of how the system can work in terms of AP automation. So here you have a list of modules. So eBA has 4 different modules. First, the document and records management module, then a workflow management system, then capture, which includes OCR capabilities, and then finally a dashboard to visualize all the data that we store on the system. So let's take a look at each and one of these modules very briefly. So the document and records management module on eBA, it allows companies to store, archive, and distract documents. It has advanced search capabilities, and this product has powerful role-based permissions included. So that means that whichever user will log in, we're going to be seeing different things on eBA based on our permissions and the authorizations that we have in terms of access or performance. Then we also include a viewer that's integrated within eBA, so we don't have to download any documents. It's something that we are going to have right there accessible for us to see. It also has check-in and check-out features to make sure nobody is making any changes at the same time. We can also keep track of the versioning of the documents. We include Office add-ons. So for example, we can easily just create a document on Microsoft Word and then upload it to eBA directly. And we also offer a folder listener. So whenever we drop one of our documents within a folder, that is going to be synchronized with eBA. So there is no need for uploading those documents again. Then the following module is the workflow management. These screenshots that you see on the right side are taken from Workflow Studio, which is our development tool where we can easily drag and drop all of those items that you see on the screen and start creating our forms. So the goal here is to create a form and then have all of those fields accessible from eBA so that we can create solutions. So for example, eBA can be used for AP automation, for human resources activities, or just like you see on this slide for maybe expense declarations. Okay, so with Workflow Studio, we can easily create a digital form that then the end users can quickly fill out and send. And then you see the workflow underneath. You see right here we have workflow that we're going to be following whenever we create or submit a new form. So for example, in this case, we can go this way, and then it goes to the manager, then it can check maybe some amount. So in this case, this was an expense claim form, and if your expenses exceed $500, then maybe the workflow changes and you have to make some turns until you get to the end of that workflow. So all of these workflows can be customized for each company, and that workflow process is going to be triggered automatically whenever a user submits a form. So we are going to have notifications coming in, both in our email, in our home screen, and that way we're going to be able to keep track of all the processes and all the forms that our employees are submitting within eBA. Then the third module is capture. So I'm going to be showing a lot of capture during the demo because with capture, we can literally digitalize a document and extract data from it. So in this case, we're capturing a couple of fields here, and these 2 fields are going to be transferred to eBA. So we're going to be getting maybe even like paper documents or PDF documents, any kind of format documents, and then we are transferring them to eBA. We are going to be linking the original document to a form, and that way we can easily look in terms of those 2 fields that we are capturing. So I'll show you how we can configure a template to capture one of these invoices or delivery notes, anything, and you'll see how we can transfer all of that information into eBA. And then finally, we also have a dashboard module. So this is our visualization tool. We can create graphs, tables, little cards, and we can go, in a lot of detail here with the dashboards, and they can be easily customizable. So each company can create their own dashboards. All we need is the data stored on the database, and then we can easily pick it up and start formatting all of these dashboards, maybe even per user, to, for example, track KPIs in real time. So how we can use eBA for AP automation or any other solution is because eBA is a platform and we can create many different solutions within eBA. So one of the applications of this tool is AP automation, and that's what you're going to be seeing right now. So if we want to leverage eBA for AP automation, what we need to do is work with different modules within eBA. So for example, we're going to need the MIS, which is the mail integration server, to receive documents via email. So for example, companies are going to be receiving invoices, delivery notes, all of that. Maybe you get it via email, right? So instead of just getting an email, downloading the attachment, and then save it on eBA, we can literally capture that attachment, place it on eBA, and that way we don't even have to worry about that. We are automating that process directly. Then we are also going to need capture, because all of those documents need to be digitized, and so that we can capture the data that's on them to start a workflow process. So then the third module we need is the workflow to validate those different fields that we're going to be capturing. And for example, for AP automation, we're going to be doing some kind of like three-way match, so that we can match our purchase order with our invoice and then with our delivery note, to make sure that what we order is what we get and it's what we are invoiced for. So those are some of the validations that we'll need to do. And then finally, we need the content repository to save all of those documents on eBA's document management system. So just to, instead of showing how we can just capture these kind of invoices or purchase orders, let me show you one example right here. This is a delivery note, and this is the invoice, right? Let's assume that we also have the purchase order, right? So some of the fields that we see right now here for the delivery note are the number, the PO number, the date of issue, delivery date, all of the items here that we ordered. And we have to make sure that these items here match the invoice materials here, okay, the list of items. So one of the things that we can do is create a template to be able to capture the information either on a delivery note or an invoice, and then transfer it to eBA. Okay, so for example, just to give you an idea of how this is going to work, we would get one of these documents. In this case, it's a bill of lading, and let's assume that we only want to transfer these two fields, the date and the order number. Okay, these are the only two fields that we need from this document in order to store it within eBA. So we're going to be making sure that this bill of lading is recognizable because this is from the company Mosaic. So we're going to be creating one form within eBA and also a workflow associated with it. So the goal is to be able to get this document, and just like by magic, it's going to be like magic. We're going to have the archiving manager here on eBA. We're going to have the date with the date that you see here, the order number that's going to match that number here, and then we're going to be able to link the original document to this form. Okay, so we're going to be able to access it right there. So in order to do this, we're going to have to design a form. In this case, very simple form. We only have those two fields and a workflow. Okay, so let's see how all of this process works. Okay, I'm going to switch my screen so that you can see how can this be achieved. So what you see right now, okay, and this is capture, and there is a configuration tab that I just clicked on. This is where we're going to be able to configure capture for each kind of document that we want to extract information from. So the first thing to do would be to configure capture, and the first item that we have to configure is the index profile. Okay, so we have a few tabs on top, and all of that has to be configured before we start using the system. So the first thing, the index profiles. Okay, so I'm going to be clicking on that, and just so you know, then the end user is not going to have to worry about any of this. Okay, this is something that we're going to be working on before. So in this case, the index profile is only going to include those two fields that we want to capture, which are the date and the order number. That's it. That's all we want to capture from that document. So we can create those two fields in here, and that's all we need. Okay. Then the next thing would be to take a look at the archiving profile. So in this case, this is where we're going to say we're going to be getting a document that's going to be on PDF, and I wanted to transfer as a PDF, right? Once we save it on eBA's document management system. And there is also a tab on top for the integration. So in order to get these document transferred into eBA, we have to create a web service to transfer that document. So that's what I'm showing right now. We are linking this web service to a document that we're going to be creating for this specific example. And we just have to give it a name and then try and match the two fields that we want from our form with the document fields. So in this case, we have to select the project, the form, and then our two fields that are going to match the form fields. Okay, so in this case, the date from the document is going to be the same that's going to be stored on the form date. And then the order number, again, that's the second field that's going to be matched here. So once we do that, we can click next and add, that PDF as a related file. So what this means, those options that you see on the slide is that either you can attach the document, the original document, to the form, or maybe you can just save it to the document management system and have to, just go and look for it. But we find it easier to just have those two fields within our form, and then at the bottom have the attachment itself. Okay, so that's what we can do with this option here. Just include that document so that we can access it directly, and it's easier for the users. And then we obviously have to store that document also on the document management system. So we can choose our library and our folder so that we can place all of those documents that we're capturing on the document management system. And once we do this, we can just get that web service that we're going to have to copy and paste right there under the archiving profile section. The next thing we have to do is take a look at the document and document group definitions. So in this case, we're simply going to have one document, but we could have a group or just a simple document. So let's just see why I had to create the index profile and the archiving profile first. It's because we need them here to link, a document with all those two profiles. And then the same thing is going to happen for the document group. Okay, we needed that configuration before we can take a look at the document definitions. Then the next thing to do would be to take a look at the index templates. So in this case, we have that bill of lading example, right? We're going to be making sure that we recognize this document because it's from that company. And then we're going to have two fields that we want to get. So you see that once we select the area they are in, it's going to turn green. And that way we can easily just start adding or removing those fields and see, that the date is going to have the date format, and the order number is just maybe going to be text or an integer, however we want to manage that. Then the next thing would be to configure the process design. So what we can do here is create different flow steps, and we just, right now we have that everyone here can validate this document, but we could change that. And then finally, the last thing would be to configure the job profile. So here we're going to have one job profile per invoice or per document that we want to manage. So we can take a look at, what we're going to do while we scan that document. So do we want it removed from our local folder after it's transferred to eBA, or, it depends on how we want to manage that. Then the next tab, the source tab, here you can see that we can have a folder listener. So every time we start a new batch of captured documents, we are going to be capturing them, from that specific folder. And then we can also save them in a different one. So that's what you see right now for the folder path and the destination path. Then we have the separation options. So in this case, what we can do is capture many documents at the same time. So let's say we have 100 documents that we're capturing, but we don't want to go one by one. So the most useful thing to do would be to create either a separation option or a additional separation option. Like maybe we want to identify 2 different documents because we are going to introduce a blank page in between, or maybe every single document has 5 pages, so we can count those pages, and every 5 pages, okay, we have a new document. Or we can even have like a barcode or something to identify all of those documents. So this way we don't need a person just capturing each document, okay? And then finally, the last tab is for the transformation options. In this case, we're using OCR to capture the information in our documents. So once we have configured all this, then the end user could easily go to the home tab, okay, select our job profile here, which is that last one, and start a new batch. So basically, that's the bill of lading that we have in our folder. That's the only document that we had at that point. So we can analyze that document, and right now the system is capturing the document. So once we open it, we see that those 2 fields have been captured and they match, right? You can see that they were recognized perfectly, and then we just have to validate that data, okay? So we can click on document checked to just make sure, that those documents are okay, and then we can archive this, and this is going to send the data to the document management system, okay? If this is all we want to do so far, once we archive it, we can just click on complete the job, and that's it. And I can show you now how the eBA interface looks like once we have transferred these documents, okay? So this is what you see right now. We can go under application. There is going to be a tab there for bill of lading, and we can see that we have a few bill of lading documents that we have transferred already. And clicking on one of them, you see that we have those 2 fields, the date and the order number, and that we can also access the original document right there, and we can view it just without even having to download it. Obviously, this is also going to be stored, in the system. And if we were to have, instead of a bill of lading, the invoice and the delivery note, what we would have to do is make sure that we are capturing the correct data, right? So for example, the delivery note is going to look something like this. Once we capture the document, all of these fields are going to be filled out. We don't have to do anything. Or we could have someone literally matching, what you get with what you were supposed to get. So you can start adding delivery note items right there. So that's gonna just open a new screen on the right, so that you can select from your purchase order the items that you were supposed to receive and start linking them here in these delivery notes. And the same thing for the invoice. We're gonna be able to get one of these forms, but for the invoice, so these are the fields that we typically get: the invoice number, the date, the supplier code, supplier name, all of these. So let's say, let's imagine that the supplier code or the supplier name were not picked up from the document. Maybe, it was hard to read. The quality was not good if we got that document on paper. So either the system is able to do the 3-way match directly, or if not, we're always going to have to, do it manually here and select our customers or suppliers manually here. So either it's everything is correct and it literally gets transferred here to the system, or we have to go through a workflow process in order to match those documents or take a look at those fields that were missing. So you can see at the bottom the 3-way match results. So we could see, that we have those 3 documents that we have to go through: the invoice, and the purchase order, and the delivery note. And once all of those are matched, the status on the right is going to be updated, and we don't even have to do anything if everything turns green. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you right now that all of these documents or forms and the original documents are going to be stored under the document management system. So that's something that we can always access, from the menu on the left. So right now we were under the application section, but we can click on document management and look for our folder, look for the AP automation folder, and that's where we're going to have all of our invoices and delivery notes grouped, so we can easily look for them, and all of the data is going to be right there. We didn't even have to put the document here. It was transferred there directly. Okay, so it's just a great way for companies to take a look at their documents. So whether it is a delivery note, an invoice, whatever we're talking about, an expense operation, a human resources onboarding process, anything can be taken care of here within eBA.
ETR, thank you for the demonstration. It's been actually very thorough and very helpful. And I have been also getting some questions, pretty good questions that we need to address, as I promised earlier in the webinar. One of the questions that I got is that if we have too many different vendors and different type of invoices, how is the account automation will be helping, and how the system will be knowing the different types of invoices coming into the system via email or on paper base by scanning. ETR?
So when we have too many vendors or suppliers, it doesn't matter here within eBA, because if you're receiving those invoices or those documents via your email, we're going to be able to get all of those attachments, place them on capture, and the system is going to be able to differentiate the template that we have to use in order to get the data from them. So we just have to make sure that we have one template per customer or per supplier, per vendor, and then we can easily capture those documents and transfer and capture the information.
Thank you, Tia. I have another question. As for the eBA's accounts payable automation, can it work standalone? Does it have to be connected to any ERP system? Or if it is connected to any ERP system, can it be a certain ERP system, or is there certain ones that eBA works with?
So the AP automation can be done within eBA, or we could even link it to SAP, for example. So sometimes we get 2 different documents, right? And one of them is going to be able to match all of those fields instantly, and the other one is not. So what happens is that the document where all the fields are matched is going to go directly and communicate with SAP, and then we're going to be able to get the document number from it and even access that document in between. And we can also link eBA, with Sage, with Acumatica, and we can use AP automation with these systems too.
Thank you, Tia. So as ETR mentioned, eBA accounts payable automation can work with any ERP software available in the market. Could be Acumatica, which could be SAP, could be Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle, you name it. Basically, the important thing is that eBA has the accounts payable automation infrastructure. It can help companies to be more efficient, and they can actually operate it very practically, and system can talk to any ERP system available in the marketplace. I have also another question that I like to also go with. Do we need a template per document? I think she asked earlier. We need a template for each document that needs to be captured. Once we teach the system how to behave, then it'll be basically capturing that certain document according to the template. It's just like actually artificial intelligence in a way. We teach the system how to behave for each kind of document, and then the system takes it from there. And there goes automation. Um, Another question is, can we design different workflows depending on the values we capture? I mean, it's actually, I think it's a very good question. So imagine we have different invoices coming from different vendors and different approval process in our company. So the question is, can we design different workflows depending on the values we capture in eBA's accounts payable automation system? Itia, would you like to address this question?
Yes, so with eBA, we can create as many workflows as we want per vendor, per client, everything. And depending on the values we get, for example, if the values that we get are maybe like $5,000 or $10,000, then we might need to go through a different workflow process because we need different approvals. So with eBA Workflow Studio, we can manage all of that and link those workflow processes for each situation, just like we need.
Thank you, Itia. And also another question that I received is it possible to automate the capture process so that there is no need for starting the process every time we receive an invoice? So we are talking about total automation. Am I right here?
Yeah, so it can work both ways. We can do this manually. We can start a capture process, like you have a document that you want to transfer to eBA, and you can have your template, you can configure the system and transfer it directly. But if we really want to automate the process, we can literally receive the email, have that document downloaded without us doing anything into a folder, and then capture can be set up so that it listens to that folder, and maybe every few hours it gets all of those documents, it captures them, and then we can just easily make sure that the three-way match is done correctly. So we don't have to even do anything unless there are some fields that were not validated. Okay.
Thank you, Itia. Another question that I received is that, do you have any use case that you can share with us as for the accounts payable automation and success? Yes, actually, we have been doing for many years. We have actually pretty good use cases that we can share with you. If you can connect us via email, we'll be sending you the use cases for your review. On the screen, you can see our content of every single speaker that we have been listening to. So we'll be happy to send you the use cases that we have for the eBA's accounts payable automation that's available. And please keep in mind that this is the first part of our eBA's accounts payable automation webinar. We'll have another session, another webinar as part 2 to talk about some use cases that we have been actually successful. So we'll be happy to share those use cases with you in coming webinars as well. But meanwhile, feel free to reach out to us via email or via phone, and we'll be sending you some use cases available about eBA's accounts payable automation solution. And as for another question that we have is for differentiating credit invoice. Well, in the system, we teach the system based on the templates. So if the template has if we teach the system to behave when it sees the invoices that's based on the template, then it'll automate the process. If we teach the system about the credit forms, credit records, documents that we may be receiving from our vendors, for instance, then it'll take it from there and automate the process. So every single template needs to be set, and basically the system needs to learn what's going to be the next step based on the workflow, and eBA's workflow will take it from there as part of the automation. Well, I think our time is up. I would like to thank you for your interest. Thank you for joining our webinar. It's been great, and we have pretty good questions. It's actually very exciting for us to get good questions from your side. It's very motivating. And on the screen, you our contact information, myself as Kevin Devecioglu, Roger Hoyt, the president of our solution partner, Integrated Data Technologies, Itiar Gonzalez, our pre-sales software engineer, and John Cornelius, our sales executive at Beamster International. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, and make sure to follow our coming webinars. We have more webinars coming up again for automation of accounts payable and also for inventory management up on August 30th. You can see our webinars listed on Eventbrite website, and we'll be also sending you invitations. I would like to thank you again for your time and your interest, and looking forward to seeing you in our coming webinars. Thank you very much.